Can you talk a little bit about adapting this series of books for television and any challenges you might have had?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just mentioning this today. I had this vision when we started writing many moons ago that one day you kind of do this. You learn how to do, how to write. When we come to it, it would be like, totally in charge. And after doing this for 20-some years, you realize that every time you're kind of reinventing the wheel, and it never gets easier. Maybe that's a good thing, that it doesn't become rote where you feel like you've got all the tools, With this one, I think the fear, at least, reading these books, and they're such great books, we really fell in love with them, and we just didn't want to screw it up. And it's a very immersive world, and how do we translate that to a smaller screen and a different medium, and not lose the world? And how do we get all these wonderful things in without going on long kind of expositional sequences? So I think if there was a challenge, it was it was just how do you take this massive, amazing thing and preserve it, switch it to something else, and still make it feel like the books, and have that kind of immersive feeling, an aspirational kind of. I don't know. There's something. I was saying earlier too that when I saw Star Wars when I was 13, I remember going home. I was a kid in Norway. We go home and I was lying in bed. And it's like that dream you want to try to get back to. And I had that feeling with these books. It was a world that when I finished the first book, I was like, I want to keep being in this world. And so I hope we've been able to kind of translate that sort of that feeling that you are in a completely immersive place that you want to stay in and you want more often. So
I'd be correct in the assumption that fans of the books will be fans of the show?
I would think so. I would certainly hope so. You will recognize there are certain things we have done with the blessing of the authors who were in the writing room with us, which was amazing. And you're never supposed to do that. You're never supposed to put the writer of the original material in the writing room. But for us, it was wonderful. They're so collaborative, and they said right away, they're like, look, we understand we're going from book to screen, and things are going to have to change, and we're behind you, and we're here to help you with anything. And it was a great experience. They were amazing. So I think the fans of the book will certainly not look at that and go, oh my God, this is completely destroyed, or it is the books. It is the feeling of the books. You can never do a direct translation of anything. Bring the book to screen. But you try to capture the feeling of it. Oh Jesus!
Oh, here we go. Special guest.
And of course, the cast has been a real challenge, but we may do as best we can. Very, very demanding cast. Very.
Yeah. Absolutely. Did you bring my gummy bears?
They have blue
all green.
Green Swedish fish.
Sorry to crash the party.
Oh,
They
that's
just told me
fine.
to sit down over here. So
They were saying they were asking if there were any challenges.
yeah, what were the challenges? I'd be interested to hear that too.
The actors. It's really hearing the word sometimes. It's destroyed everything.
So tell us about your character now that you're here.
I play Amos Burton, and he is an engineer on the Canterbury, and he works under Naomi, and he is from Baltimore. He suffered a lot of trauma in his childhood. In this trauma that he went through has kind of short-circuited his emotion, his ability to empathize with somebody else or to have an emotional connection to another human being. But he still is motivated to be a good person. He wants to do the right thing. And the motivation for that is he doesn't want to be the type of guy that abused him when he was younger. So he has this really special relationship that he connected with Naomi because she's pretty much the only one that he trusts, and he knows in his heart that she's a good person. So he connects to her in a way where she kind of guides him and shows him how to be a human being, how to operate. So she's kind of like his beating heart, his moral compass that lives outside of his body, which I thought, in the book, I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, he's amazing. Have you guys read the book? Yeah? Yeah, I think you'd really like him. I can see my mom reading these books.
If we really did colonize space, would you choose to live in space, another planet, or just stay Earthbound?
That's an interesting question because I just had a baby. He's like 7 months in a couple of weeks. He'll be 7 months. So if you would ask me before I had the baby, I would want to experience the universe and live somewhere else. But now, because now I have a kid, on the other side of that, I kind of think about, I want to be home more. I want him to experience Earth. I want to, it gives me roots that I never had before. So that's an interesting question, because on both sides of the baby, I would have completely different answers.
I wonder how you would feel if you were already living in space and then had a child.
Yeah.
If you would want to go back to Earth to raise the child.
Well, I think it's interesting because I can draw a parallel to even what's going on right now, because I was, like you said, I was raised in the South, but I've been in LA for 10 years now. Yeah, and so what is home, and now that I have my son, I kind of want him to go experience what I experienced growing up. I want him to be a part of the world that I had and be close to the
It's
family.
funny. It's a total. I think that's a very. I think a very common thing, because I feel the same way. I grew up in Norway, and I now live in Vermont, and I realized, we lived in New York City for many years. It was never felt like home, and it felt like we were treading a bit of water. And then finally, when we did move to Vermont, it's really the same as Norway. I mean, with less tax.